Okay, well, good morning, everybody, and I'm glad we're here today. I'm glad that everyone is well. And so we're going to talk about lesson 5, which is purchasing used vehicle. Last week we talked about purchasing a new vehicle, right? And then we said, well, purchasing a new vehicle is an option. It's a great option, but because new vehicle, just like anything that you buy new, it's more expensive, correct? Right? We all agree with that. Okay. So as we have discussed, buying a new car is expensive. We know that, right? Many people choose to buy a used car for their transportation needs. Used car can be purchased from either a dealership, okay, so any car dealership, or a private seller, okay? Maybe you have done a private seller, or you've dealt with a private seller before to purchase your vehicle, or maybe you sold your car privately to somebody else. So private seller, sometimes they use Facebook market page, sometimes they use Kijiji, some people use Auto Trader for used vehicle, okay? So they advertise it, but those are private person who used their car and now they want to get rid of it and they're selling it to other people, okay? So used cars can be purchased from either dealership, okay, so dealership, any car dealership, and a private seller. So if you consult the tax rates below, okay, now this page or this part here is on that formula page that was given to us a while back, right, on that card stock. So this one tells us how much taxes are going to be charged on used vehicle. Okay, so I'm gonna actually let's just focus on this one here. So when we talked about buying a new vehicle, we are charged PST and GST. 7% and 5%, so a total of 12%, right? Yeah, that's what we talked about last week. Now, if we buy a used vehicle from a dealership, guess what? We're also going to be charged PST and GST. Okay, so that's PST and GST. Now, the next one, what if we buy a used car privately? So here's the little bit of a difference. It says here, if we buy a used car privately, the PST, we have to get charged the PST, and we're gonna get charged PST on whichever is greater between book value or purchase price. Okay, so we have to figure out which one is the biggest, the book value or purchase price, and then we're gonna figure out the PSC for that. And it says no GST. Okay, so that's already thinking, oh, that's a great thing, because if I buy a used car, there is no GST. Okay, now another thing that we are going to talk about and we have to deal with when purchasing a used car is the safety. So safety, we want to get it safetied, right? So safety inspection. So safety inspection, there is no PST, but then there's a GST. If we need to get our car fixed, let's say we buy a used car and we want to change something, we want to put in a new wiper, we want to put in a new set of tires or whatever, right? Then we have to pay PST and GST, like what we talked about in lesson 2, okay? When we talk about lesson 2, cost of maintenance and repair, so that one still applies. And then there's last one, a lien search. Lien search, no PST and no GST. Okay, So we're not gonna memorize all these things because this is gonna be given to us all the time. But we always have to refer to this one because we can't remember, oh, does a safety inspection have PST or GST? Then you go back in here, right, to check. So what is a lien search? As a buyer, you are responsible for any unpaid debt or amount of lien on a used vehicle that you buy. That is why it's important to know whether there is an active, enforceable lien against a vehicle you're purchasing, or any information that the lien search will tell you. So if they're using the car as a lien for unpaid debts that other people have, and then you buy it, you're taking on their debt, so you don't want that. So here we go. When purchasing privately, be sure to have written contract. I'm gonna underline that one because it's important. Written contract, okay? It is also wise to have a qualified mechanic inspect the vehicle before purchasing. It's also wise to have inspection done by a mechanic. If I look for a car and it looks nice and shiny and clean, right? It looks like it's all good, but I don't know if there's really, because I'm not trained professional mechanic, I don't know if there's really something wrong with that one, right? So inspection. We talked about that with home inspection, right? Right? So same thing, you're gonna buy something, you wanna make sure it's good. It's good, okay? So the person who sells privately does not actually collect the PST. PST amount is paid to the insurance broker when we registered the vehicle through AutoPack. So when the person says, okay, I'm gonna sell you the car for $1,000, you just give that person $1,000. The PST that we have to pay for, will go to AutoPack. Will go to AutoPack when we register the vehicle. Okay? We're gonna see some examples on that in a second. Okay? So far so good? Now let's see. We're probably gonna go with just example 1 today, and then we'll see how it goes. Buying a used car from a dealer. Okay? So this is important because you want to know where this used vehicle is coming from, and if it comes from a dealership, okay? If it comes from a dealership, I'm going to flip it back here. Buying a used car from a dealership, that means you have to do the PST and the GST. Okay? So let's do that. So Ken goes to a used car dealership in Dauphin, Manitoba, to buy a used car. The starter price is $4,500. Calculate the final cost of the car after taxes. So because this is a dealership, buying from dealership, we need to include GST and PST, okay, which is 12%. So total cost, okay, the total cost would be $4,500, okay, $4,500, and because we have to include the GST and PST, we're just gonna go times 1.12. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the math for that. Okay, so that one's an easy one. Yeah, so 4,500 times 1.12 because of the GST and PST, so equals 5,040. Okay, so that's the total cost. for that car. Okay? Is that okay? Okay. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause right here. I'm going to pause right there for today. So that was a short one, but that's okay. So tomorrow, what we're going to do is we're going to still continue on with this. I think tomorrow we should be able to finish up all of the examples. We're going to finish all the examples tomorrow, and then that will give us an opportunity to do some of our practice questions. Okay?